So today we're messing with PlastiDip on Josh's 2016 Sonata. He wants to spray or PlastiDip the emblems on the back. I think it'll look pretty cool. And neither of us have messed with PlastiDip at all before. It should be pretty easy to use. We looked up stuff online, so you're gonna either see us do this well or completely fail. And we have our can of matte black PlastiDip, and we're just gonna clean it off, tape everything off, and then spray it, and we'll show you guys how to do it. So first thing we're gonna do here is just clean off the back of the car. So we're going to be PlastiDipping the Hyundai logo here, and then the Sonata logo down here. And we might do the one in the front too, probably not though, because it kind of looks weird with just how the car is. So we're just gonna spray down this area right here, and this area right here, and then we're going to tape it all off, so that way we don't get too much overspray on the car. So you want to make sure to get all of the dirt off and all the little nooks and crannies, especially in something that's three-dimensional like this, because if you have dirt or debris that gets caught under the PlastiDip, then it's going to look like absolute garbage, and you definitely don't want that. If you have a bunch of little corners and stuff that you can't really get your finger into, you can use a Q-tip and kind of get in there to help get all that dirt and grime out, so that way you don't have a bad finish on the PlastiDip. So now we're just gonna tape it off. You want to leave at least an inch or so around the area here, and because of the little how the trunk is shaped, it's kind of hard to do on the bottom. We're gonna do our best. We just want to make sure that when we peel it off, we don't start to peel off the Hyundai logo PlastiDip, and we're just peeling off this PlastiDip. So I said an inch, but it looks like we're only gonna do like a ½ inch because I don't know how to measure things. But honestly, it should be fine. Okay, so now that we got this one done, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the Sonata logo down here, and we'll catch up with you guys when we're ready to spray the car. So we covered everything up. We might have gone a little overkill with all the paper and magazine or whatever here, but that way we know we won't get any overspray. So now we're going to start spraying the car, and for the first few coats you want to do it really thin. I'm going to do my best to not put too much on, and you want to be about 6 inches away from what you're spraying. So we're just gonna do about a couple thin layers on each, and then wait a few minutes, do another layer, and then just keep repeating that process until we're done. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we're about 6 inches away, just nice and thin, and move over to this one. That might have been a little bit too much, but again, I don't think it really matters that much. It's just, it helps build up the base if you do it thinner. So now we're gonna wait about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll do it again. In case you guys are wondering, we are using this peel coat, I guess because the PlastiDip name is copyrighted. We are using peel coat. We just got this at AutoZone. It was $10 for a can. All right, so it's been 10 minutes, so now we're going to apply the second coat and kind of do it thin again. We don't want to completely soak the emblem, but just kind of get the top there. And that should do it. So now we're gonna wait another 10 minutes before we go again. And then as we do more and more layers, we can kind of cut down the waiting time between coats. But just for the first couple coats at least, we wanna wait a little bit more so it can start to dry. It's been another 5 or 10 minutes or so, and you can see that it's pretty much black on this front part now. But now what you wanna do is kind of spray one layer from the top like this, and then another layer from the bottom, because under this little hoop in the H here, it's still pretty much completely silver. So we want to make sure that we're covering all areas of it, and same with the Sonata down here or whatever you're doing. So for these next couple coats, we're not going to be spraying it straight on. We're going to go from the top and bottom. So for this one, we're gonna go from the bottom now, and then I also wanna make sure to go in from the sides, because on the side of the H here, it's still a little bit of silver. So we just wanna make sure that we cover all the surfaces well, because the last thing you wanna do is peel everything off and then realize that you didn't completely get everything. So this is gonna be a little bit hard. I think I might, it's kinda awkward. Make the video and PlastiDip at the same time. Fuck, that did not work. Alright, you gotta film.
What did you do?
Look. I sprayed 2 lines right here. Okay.
Is it recording?
Yeah. That was a fat line right there.
Might want to go a little bit more far away.
Oh yeah, that's true. These are both completely done now. We did more layers on this one because there's a little bit of a bubble or something here that we wanted to make sure was all smoothed out. But this one is completely done, so we're gonna peel this one off while we let this one finish up healing or curing, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna peel this one off and see how it looks. So usually you're just gonna like peel the tape off, and as you can see, the PlastiDip isn't really coming off yet, but that's okay because, I mean, we're gonna actually physically peel it off here in a minute. And there it is, guys. You're all done. You gotta be very careful when you're doing it, or else it might kind of rip. So once you reach the emblem here, it should just kind of peel off around the emblem. So now obviously you still have a bit around the edge here, but you're just going to kind of dig your finger in there and you'll be able to kind of pull that out just as you did with this around the outside, and then you can just clean up the edges too. So we've been working on this for about 5 or 10 minutes now. He's got about half of that peeled off. It's blocked by his hand right now. And then this one I've been working on, so it's coming off really well. Usually when you start to peel it off, once you reach the A, let's say, it'll just kind of peel around it, but always be slow and careful when you do it because you never know. But we haven't really had any problems with it catching on to what we're actually trying to PlastiDip yet. So we just spent the last 30-45 minutes cleaning off all of this. It was a little bit hard to get inside the A and the O and whatnot, but none of the PlastiDip really peeled off of the emblem except for a little bit right here where we just touch it up, and then we'll peel that off when it dries. But I think it looks pretty good. This is a pretty easy thing to do. I mean, neither of us had ever done this before, and I think it turned out pretty good. So yeah, with that being said, that's gonna wrap up this video. There's Jack Johnson. That's Josh's Sonata, and we'll see you next time.